Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. Please join our community by subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. Today's video is all about transportation in the US. I will cover home country's driver's license, US driver's license, transportation options, leasing a car in the US, buying a used car in the US. A lot of teachers are asking why a driver's license is required. Just so you know, not all visa sponsors are requiring the applicant to turn in their home country's driver's license, but most do. And since that is the case, it is better to acquire it earlier than later when you are already processing your application requirements. This will save you money and all the stresses caused by cramming just because it's the only one you're missing. When you are pressed with time, you are most likely going to end up paying more on fixers or on expediting things. The visa sponsors will not check your driving skills, by the way. They just want you to turn in your driver's license. Of course, being able to drive is an important skill. You will learn to be very good at it when you are already in the US because you will not have any choice but to drive eventually. Driving your own car also means freedom, and isn't freedom such a precious thing to have? In my case, I learned to drive first in the Philippines and got my driver's license. It was just a piece of paper, that's the receipt at that time, without the help of fixers. However, I did not really drive in the US. I was carpooling going to school with a colleague from the same school who's also a Filipino EPI teacher, and at the same time, she lived in the same neighborhood as mine. During my last 3 years, I was again carpooling with another Filipino teacher who's my housemate, and our school were just about 7 minutes drive away from each other. During these times, my husband would just pick me up from school before he goes to his own work. So that's my very interesting transportation story. I would say I was lucky to have that access to carpooling because in so many ways during those times it was really the most convenient option for me. The rules concerning the use of a foreign driver's license in the US vary per state. Some states require foreign nationals to have an international driver's permit or IDP plus a driver's license or DL from their home country, and they're allowed to drive for 1 year. Some only require the home country's driver's license. In Florida, for instance, they do not require an IDP, just your home country's driver's license, and you can use that for 60 days while processing your Florida driver's license. In order to obtain your US driver's license, you will be needing your home country's driver's license. They may ask you to take the drug and alcohol course that's online, and that's for a fee. The name of this course may vary from state to state though. And some may also just give you a student permit before you can obtain DS 2019, passport, visa, application fee which varies per state, social security number, EAD or employment authorization document if you are a J2 visa holder. You should pass the computer-based exam and you should pass the road test. By the way, if you fail the computer-based exam, you can retake it, and each time that you are retaking it, the fee is actually increasing. So I was probably lucky to have passed it the first time I took it. Same with my husband. So my husband and I took the test at the same day. Driving your own car in the US is not a luxury but a necessity, especially if you are assigned to teach at a rural school. There's not going to be any public transportation for you. The students will have their school bus, but teachers have to have their own transportation. If you're assigned in big cities, there will be public transportation options. At the end of the video, I will tell you the documentations that you need to prepare when you are buying or leasing a car. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Leave a comment, share the video, and hit the notification bell so that you'd know if I have new uploads. We came to Florida in 2017 and we did not have a car from September through May the next year. It was challenging to go grocery shopping. Our first apartment was close to a plaza which has shops, restaurants, auto shop, etc., and also a grocery store called Publix. We walked when we needed to go grocery shopping, but when it's time to go home and we're carrying several bags and they're heavy, we would take Uber, which should be the minimum fare since it's closed. Here are some transportation options. First one, carpooling with someone. Of course, you have to talk about how much you will pay. The disadvantage is that what if that person cannot go to work, such as when he or she is sick or has a personal business to take care of? How do you go to and from work then? Second is taking Uber or Lyft. This is very expensive, especially if you're not sharing the ride with anyone. To share it with someone means you should be working and living at the same place with that person. It's rare to find someone like that except if you and your spouse work at the same school. Or it's possible that besides you, there are other teachers who's assigned to teach in that school, and you can just contact each other before going to the US and maybe settle with living in the same apartment as housemates, or maybe just being neighbors like I was with the friends I mentioned to you earlier. I used to spend up to $30 one way on Uber when my husband was not available to pick me up from work. Imagine going to and from work on Uber every day. Also, sometimes the driver would get lost or would take the wrong turn or exit, etc. You also have to book early and may have to wait for a while, even more expensive when it's the rush hour. You can also take the bus. Not all cities have public buses though. In Orlando, they have Links. It's way cheaper than taking Uber or Lyft, but then it also takes the longest route, and so you really have to leave your house and work early since travel time is so much longer. It's worse when you have to take two trips, meaning you need to transfer from one bus to the next to get to your destination. Depending on how crowded the city is, buses there are nice and clean, but because it's a public transportation, be prepared to have to sit with annoying passengers, etc. A lot of EPI teachers I know, especially the new batches, are leasing a car instead of buying. The down payment is usually at least $2,000. When you are lucky and the leasing company has a promo, they may not ask for a down payment. This also means higher monthly payment. The contract is also usually for 3 years, but if you decide to extend it, you can do so. With a lease, buyers make a monthly payment to drive a new car for a set term. That payment is often less than the monthly cost of financing a new vehicle, but buyers must return the car at the end of the lease term. However, if you terminate the lease earlier than the contracted term, you will have to pay some fees. Lease contracts specify a limited number of miles. If you go over that limit, you'll have to pay an excess mileage penalty. So be sure to calculate how much you plan to drive. You don't get a credit for unused miles. If you don't maintain the vehicle in good condition, you'll have to pay excess wear and tear charges when you turn it in. So if you have young kids, maybe leasing is not a good option for you. Buying a used car is also something you may want to consider. Most J1 teachers end up doing this, and they save lots of money. Buying a new car is, I think, just out of the equation from the get-go, since J1 teachers will stay in the US up to 5 years only. So it is not wise to buy a new car. When you buy a used car, the original owner absorbs the pain of its steep depreciation during its early years. You pay for less than you would if you had purchased the car new. Prepare to pay at least $2,000 on down payment as well. Of course, you have to take into consideration that there may be more maintenance required on a used car that's out of warranty, and its financing may be a bit more expensive. But choosing a vehicle with a good predicted reliability rating and low ownership costs can help you save tremendous amount of money. So make sure to do lots of research before committing to buying a used car. Also, only buy from reputable car dealership. You can go to, let us say, Toyota or Hyundai or whatever car make you have in mind and make your inquiries there. You can also read reviews. Ask your colleagues. So far, we all had good experiences with buying used cars. I'm sure it's not 100% for everyone since I do not know everyone's story. So when you buy used cars, consider the mileage. Check on the Carfax. Carfax is an international provider of vehicle history reports for a more transparent used car market. The data includes history about owners, maintenance, accidents, and many other events affecting the vehicle's value and operability. These reports are used to help inform car buyers about the vehicles they are looking at. Also, when it is time to leave the US at the end of the program, you can sell your car and that's some take-home money for you. Make sure to take care of your car very well so that your resale value will be good. As foreigners, we might have challenges in buying cars, whether it's used or new, just because we do not have credit history and also no one would vouch for us. So be patient. You will still be able to find one. Some teachers would wait for a year when they have already built a good credit score before they buy their car. I, for one, bought our car when my husband was already working. Like I said, I was carpooling. So during the first 9 months when my husband was not working yet, having our own car was not that necessary. Of course, it would have been a different story if there was no option for carpooling. Whether you will carpool, use public transportation, lease a car, or buy a used car, make sure to consider these as you figure out your monthly expenses, especially since the program is only for 5 years max. You want to be able to pay off debts if you have any back home and to save as much as you could. Because of course, besides the actual cost of a car, you also have to consider the amount of insurance that you'll be paying monthly. If you have your family with you, I highly encourage getting your own car either by leasing a new car or buying a used one. If you have your own car, like I said, you have more freedom. You can go wherever you want and whenever. I have a video about teachers' salary, expenses, and savings, so make sure to watch that if you're interested. Do not forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. I also would like to invite you to follow and like my Facebook page, where I do a regular Facebook Live to answer questions real time. Finally, when leasing a new car or buying a used car, you need at least $2,000 for down payment, passport, visa, DS 2019, apartment contract, valid driver's license, either your home country or US driver's license if you already have it, US bank statement. And finally, you have to turn in proof of income. They will ask for your pay stub from the last 3 months or so. I have links below for additional information about the things I covered today. I hope this has been a good use of your time watching my video. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next one. Bye.